My joke always is smart contracts are neither smart nor contracts. It's automated business logic. There's a set of inputs that goes into this thing, and based on those inputs, there's an output. So what are the challenges and risks around the inputs? Because I don't need to attack the chain. I just need to attack the oracle or the input into that contract.
I think that's why I was at a conference yesterday at an office of one of the big four. And I think each of them are focused on actually doing smart contract auditing. You're not going to get a pen signature on the bottom of this like you would an audited financial report. It's basically a code analysis. It's looking at the code and highlighting challenges and issues that may exist and making sure that people are aware of those. There's going to be a new form of disclosure that's going to have to come out with this, that when you buy a product, particularly at the retail level, that people understand not just what they're buying, but what the actual role of the smart contract is, how it works, how it operates. And that's going to be all over the place. I think you mentioned mortgages earlier, right? Like if you think about the 175 pages of paper, which I think has been reduced from the 450 pages before 2008, that's going to all be codified. How do you actually explain that to an individual becomes really important. And so I think that's where common sense disclosure written in plain language is going to become a really important component of this stuff.
It's a really good point. And one thing I would add to that is when you think about that auditability, one of the interesting advantages of tokenization is that you have an issuer.
Yeah.
Right. Unlike, again, the word traditional crypto, you actually can kind of roll back stuff in tokenization if you really have to. We obviously don't want to do that.
Sure.
So, but that is in some respects, and I think an underappreciated benefit that folks haven't quite realized yet. Whereas when you're dealing in things like Bitcoin or Ethereum, you're really dealing with bearer assets at that stage. And as a firm that grew up with that as our remit, the other side of this is the work you do to validate that initial intent on the investor side. So sure, we have the smart contract component of this, but are we comfortable as a firm that, this institution that's going to put $1.5 billion into this smart contract really intends to do that because of all of those downstream impacts?
Absolutely.
I will add that I believe in simplicity regarding the smart contracts. So as simple as you will create the smart contracts, you will avoid security issues, etc. And from the other end, it's super important to make audit on each of the smart contracts, not only one time, but to keep it live every few months, for example. And also I will add that you have companies like �RTIC and other companies that helping you to monitor and to create the audit on your smart contract, and also Chainlink, for example, that are doing online on-chain analysis and due diligence. And in our case, they are doing even ESG due diligence and analysis. So it's really helpful. And another thing that I will add, that AI tools today can help to translate the smart contracts for the simple people, to understand everything in simple terms, so they don't have any surprises or anything like that. And it will make their life easier, especially if we are talking about the retail investors.
And there's a tremendous amount of legal and technical engineering that has to happen in the background. And so it's so important as an investor or as an institution, as you're looking at tokenization, ensuring you're working with the right players, because the market is also very saturated and people, working to tokenize XYZ. And so making sure that you are working with a player that is compliant and has that full team and capabilities.